about resources, ladies and gentlemen. And the car is a resource for many dogs that come in here. If you're next to your car, this is a test, this is how you know. You need to work on it. You come out to the car, you open the door, and the dog bolts in, right? Now, test 2. Come out, open the door, and try to keep the dog from going in. In fact, open up all the doors and tell the dog, my toy, this is my toy. You're invited into it when I say you can use it with me, but not until I say. So it's the same. The dog views this the same way as they view their squeaky toy when they're trying to keep it away from another dog for hierarchy. You need to do this exercise with your dog, with everything, of course, with food and things in the house, but with the car, because the car is a huge resource. They know that this magical device brings them to awesome places, right? So it's a resource. It's something the resource. When I say resource, it's something they need to survive or something that they want. Okay, so it's everything. So look, all the doors are open. Okay. Now what I did, the reason why this is going to work, and he's starting at a distance because I shoot him, right? I told him to go, and that's what they do with each other. And I know most of the time we don't do that with our dogs. They're right here next to the resource, and we're trying to have a conversation about them not concerning themselves with the resource, but we're allowing them to be right here and look at it. The trick is to verbally say no and then tell your dog to go, because that's what they do around resources. That's the whole thing. Now eventually he won't look like that. Like a few times, a few experiences, he'll be able to hang out right here. When I give him a look, he'll just quiet down, because the message is it's not for you. And I'll invite him closer when I say, but not in. And if he starts whining, back out. Like imagine a circle around a resource, right? Where if it's a very valuable resource, everybody who's exclusive, like the leaders, they get to get really close to it and use it and touch it and do all these things, whatever it is. But those who are below you, this is what dogs would do, don't even get close to it. Not only can you not get in it, but don't get close to it and perseverate on it and think about it. That gets corrected in a dog pack too, because dogs know something. They know that thoughts turn into actions. So we don't let him think about it, because as soon as he's thinking about it and he's close to it, we got problems. Correct, like a dog would, and the dog would say, get out of here, go away. Now what we find is a lot of dogs don't know that conversation. They don't have that conversation with humans. You can't send your dog away. You can't say, get out of here, get out of this situation, go. It's not for you. If you could, people wouldn't complain about jumping and all this stuff in social settings, because you could just simply say, go, this one's not for you, and they would do that. So it's not a command, it's a social thing. The dogs didn't train each other. When a dog does it to another dog in a pack, they didn't teach them a command first. Okay, so it's working with nature. We don't have to add anything onto that conversation. Now, if you want to, you can, of course, have your dog down and all that stuff. Yeah, but it's not absolutely necessary, okay? It's about how he feels about the resource. And not only just the car, how we as a pack deal with resources. And how it usually is the leader is going to have first dibs. The leader's gonna say how, where, what is it? Where, how, and when. We deal with the resources, not just the car, anything. So that conversation, that dynamic, once the dog completely accepts that dynamic, you see all the symptoms that everyone complains about fall off, or the pulling on the leash to get to resources. That's what they're doing. They're going to resources and they're dragging their ball and chain around to the resources. This is just how dogs do, right? They're simple. That's what's beautiful about them. So guess what? The answer's simple. Simple in philosophy, but difficult to do because you have to be consistent, and it's very hard to be consistent when you live in America and the world's saying go to work and do this and do that, when your dog's saying I need some time from you. So we get it, but the cool thing is it's just stuff like this. So when you're out with your dog, you practice stuff like this until you no longer need to practice stuff like this, and then you can just enjoy and reap the benefits. Okay, so look, my man's doing good, no whining, he's listening, he's being patient. He's outside of the situation. He's far enough away where he's like, okay, I'm not part of the situation. I'm going to get him closer, which what happens when you get closer to a temptation? It gets more tempting. So he needs to learn, even when you're close, it's not for you until I say get in, and even then, it's mine. And that's the way this works, okay? The bottom's trying to come over and get a piece of the alpha's meat. They're going to growl at first, and if they don't listen to that growl, they're then going to snap, and then the dog's going to run away, right? But if the dog doesn't run away, you'll see the dog leave its food behind and chase, if it's safe, to chase that dog away to make sure that that dog's not coming back, and then come back and enjoy their meal. They're not just going to say, stop it, stop it, stop it. They're going to just deal with it, all right? So this is the work. Everything comes down to the dog. It really is this simple. For this guy, it's even more simple. I want something. That's his thought. There's something he wants to do. And so he's whining because he's thinking about doing it. And I'm disagreeing with him thinking about doing it. So the whine goes away. Because the whine is a thought. It's not just for no reason, okay? Unless he's in pain, which he is not, he is whining because he's complaining about his current circumstances. And I am turning around saying, as another dog saying, stop whining, it's annoying. Right? Okay? And to further educate you how this will work, if I know what he's whining about, such as the car, with eye contact on the car, means, I want to go in the car, right? That's what that means. So if I say, no, not to the whine necessarily, that might not be how it lands in the dog's head. No to the car. So now he's like, well, I can't get in the car. It's not going to happen. Whine goes away. It's important to understand this basic level of behavior so that you can actually know what's happening when you're dealing with a dog. And now what we're doing is we're breaking it down for him, and we're having that conversation that he has every minute of his life. Every time he steps into a new place, or he's just walking around looking this way, whining about things, looking this way, whining about things. You see how it works? And he has to follow us until we say, okay, go ahead. Right, good. This is good. This is a nice beginning, okay? This isn't the end result. The end result will hopefully have him not even trigger at all to it, not start whining. I'm going to offer him, this is what you've seen earlier. I said let's go, which does not mean go to a resource. That's the opposite of what let's go means for me. Let's go means ignore the resources and follow my direction. So I said let's go, but his brain is so on the car, and then the car leads to this and that, because they can chain things together. He knows the car, it's not the car that's great, it's where the car goes, okay? So I say let's go, and he's like, well, that he must have said brake because I'm thinking about it that much. So he just assumes, and assuming, we know what assuming does. I don't think I have to pull that one out. So I seen him gear his attention towards that car, if you rewatch it. And then I stepped in and was like, no, that's my car, what are you doing? I didn't offer that to you. So that's the way we're entering it into his brain, as a disagreement over resources, okay? And that's why there's no whining at the end, because they understand that there's the hierarchy and that's how it goes. And once they accept it, the job's done. Versus just saying, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that. We're saying, don't touch that, that's mine. It's a little bit more of an edge to it. That's what works. I think everybody deep down knows that. Okay? Let's go. Wow. I didn't shoot him this time because he relaxed pretty quickly. Listen, you might have to get closer. Everything matters, the way he orients his body towards it and everything like that, right? Right here is, when are you going to let me in? And then you let him relax. Just let him. All that because the way, unfortunately, it was associated That's what it is. So this is the work of combating the old association. We're saying no to that over-adrenalized state and that hyper state. No, 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 don't do that. Stay relaxed, be patient, don't assume anything, and just wait for me to tell you. That's all that's going on here. But the dog struggles with it so much, not just this dog. Literally every dog that comes here. Rarely ever, I think I met 2 dogs in my career that came through that didn't have these dispositions as strong. This is what you get most of the time. If you just let them grow to what they're going to be naturally in your house, this is what they become. This is a little bit of encouraged though. That's why he's a super bad case, right? Because he was also his anxiety was encouraged. But let's say you didn't do that. Let's say you were good and you didn't encourage the anxiety, but you didn't disagree with things that you should have. He was going to become this anyway, in a house that allowed him to be a German Shepherd without domesticating him further, like saying, no, you can't actually be a full German Shepherd. Ha ha ha, that's funny, that's cute. No, you can't do that, right? Unless you're the type of owner that knows how to deal with a German Shepherd to allow them to be what they naturally can be, which is a guard dog. They can do a great job at that. This isn't being done. This isn't what we're seeing here. We're seeing people want pet. Pet is a predator, and who's also immature and very baby-like, very compared to a wild dog his age. He's an infant still. He never learned patience. He never learned you can't always get what you want. He never learned pecking order, all this stuff, and he's 2, so he feels like he's like 7 months. You know what I'm saying, Julie? So we want to feel him act his age, or even more mature. Okay, and we all know, you're more patient when you're 30-year-old, you're a 30-year-old, than when you're a 3-year-old. Hopefully. So this is the parenting, man. This is it. This is the kid begging for something that he can't have, and it gets brushed over like it's not a conversation to be had, like the dog's just whining. That's just what dogs do. But no, the dog's saying, I'm anxious, I need some structure in my life. I need schooling. I need all this stuff, right? Which Axis owners are great, because what did they do? They identified a problem and they sent him to get help. So good on them. My man, good. Did it stress you on? Feeling a little bit more relaxed? This is the thing, is every time, if I do this every time, the process becomes shorter and shorter and shorter until there is no process. We're just getting in the car because, listen, he doesn't want to go through this process either. And if he realizes, once he realizes it's this state of mind he enters that causes it, because that's really what it is. As soon as he elevates and gets worried and you feel the tension, that's what I'm disagreeing with. If he came out and he was just chill and he looked at the car door and he wanted to go in, but he never shifted his energy to this tense, anxious, annoying state, he would have been in the car by now. We would have been gone. So that's what he's going to realize. Because we're consistent, because we're paid to be. That's the truth. At home, it's not so easy. So a program like this will give you a head start. The dog will already be used to it. X. Let's go. You see, it's obvious now that I pointed out that his thoughts, he came up and there's a wet spot on the car, his nose touched my car. Okay? Definitely not his car, but he wants it. He wants it. So that's what it's all about, right? This is puppy stuff. In a grown adult body, that's what makes it dangerous, because they can nip and stuff. But Axe is cool. He doesn't do that stuff, which is great. He's not a biter as far as we can tell. And he truly, I do believe that he is the potential is there. But he also likes to do stuff and had a very active mind before here. We want him to do this. Okay, he's getting there. But it goes against the grain of his nature. That's what I'm trying to say. His makeup, he's supposed to be doing stuff. He's supposed to probably be working, honestly. So that's why he struggles more than the average dog, because his DNA is not meant to do this. It's not designed to lay around all day and to be chill. It's just not. Everything in his being wants to go, no restrictions, wants to go work, 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 work. But you know what's cool about him though? After he has his outlet, he's nice and chill in his kennel, no complaining. He's happy to come out and work. So what we're doing is just saying, hey, we are gonna work and we are gonna let you get that energy out, but there's gonna be moments because you're a pet dog. You gotta learn this, and he can do it. That's my guy right there, good. So this is the first time we did it to this extent. We'll be doing this a couple more times. You'll be surprised how just a couple of times will go very far. You know, but you're looking at like an hour of work, you know, the first time. X. Shh. See how he's assuming? I'm showing you. Shh. That's a problem. Shh. I never said to go in the car. I just said his name, which means look at me because I'm about to tell you to do something. That little moment right there, that's why he's bad everywhere else. That's what I'm trying to say. It is that simple, but nobody notices that moment. Nobody. Maybe trainers, of course. That's why they're good at what they do. But the average person doesn't even see that. That didn't even happen. That was just nothing. Because I was going to ask him to go in the truck anyway. Shh. But if we started these conversations young, he wouldn't have this problem, right? This mind issue. Shh. X is not alone. This is 99% of the dogs we see. They're not all vocal about it, but they're still thinking about it. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Now because he made so many errors, you can see I'm positioning my body further from what he wants because I'm going to say his name, and my idea is to ask him to come to me, not to that. But because his mind is so gone thinking on that, possibly he might make the error. And this is just more progress for me and getting him to pay attention even more tomorrow. X. Let's go. That's a good boy. This is what you experience, the owner experiences. Shh. Shh. This is what you're going to be going home on, slippery. Shh. Again, it's a very mild version of like trying to take my food conversation. He's learned how to allow me to. He's learned the process, which dogs do. They learn how to de-escalate a situation. And so he learned if I just lay down and relax, I will de-escalate this guy because that's when I leave him alone. But if he keeps perseverating on my food, on my meal, I'm going to up the intensity in which I approach him until he does that. And he knows that. That's why he did that, to say, okay, I'm done. And I said, okay. But if you get up and do it again, I'm bringing it further, right? And it can turn into a fight with dogs. That's the thing about the fight with a dog is it's the most natural thing that you should do with your dog if this issue occurs, because that's what's going to solve the whole thing. But you need to know how to do it, right? You can do it in a way that actually is humane and there's no harm done to the animal or you. But that's not always guaranteed. You can definitely hurt yourself. And the dog can hurt himself as well, because they can go into that mode where they're just, boom, red zone. Depends on the dog you're working with, and that's why you should learn how to do it professionally before you actually do these methods. But this is the conversation. It's a natural conversation, and that's why it gets the point across, that's why it works, and that's why there's no confusion. All right? I'm gonna let him run my resource again. Now listen, the thing is like if I had all the time in the world, I could do this, I could say to you, I'm gonna do this every day for 100 days. And I'm not gonna stop the exercise until I get what I want. You know what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get perfection. Because it's gonna change his association. He's gonna learn how to do this activity with minimal confrontation, because confrontation's not good. Because it doesn't end well if you don't know how to stop the confrontation. And the way to stop the confrontation is to disengage with the situation. Stop trying to go after the resource that I told you I don't want you to have. Okay? What's cool about this is once a dog gets over the hump, once a dog really is experienced and living this way, you're not doing this all day. It's a very rare thing to have to actually physically correct a dog who is well balanced and with you and under your thumb. To this degree, you know, where I have to be on him and it's a session. You know, it's a life lesson that he has to have late in life. So that's why it looks weird, because he's a full-grown adult and we're talking about something, you know, a 6-month-old dog would be talking about. And it looks less weird when it's a 6-month-old dog and you're sitting there putting your hands on his scruff and you're asking him to do that. It looks less weird, but I have to do it because it's not being done all across everywhere that I know of. Shh. Right? He needs to learn this. It's unfortunate, and I know. It's like, oh wow, he's 2. This looks like he just, what did he do to deserve this? Did he try to kill a baby? It's like, no. He's fucking with my resources, and this is what you learn as a puppy. That's what's going on. It's very dangerous to do this to adult dogs. It should be done young, you know? Not as soon as they're ready. And dogs will do it to each other through play to start to learn this stuff. But we take dogs away from their siblings at 8 weeks, so they don't learn all this like life lessons through play. How to submit, how to de-escalate situations socially, all this stuff. Shh. Learning about the pecking order. They get taken away from their pack so young, and then they go and live with a family of humans who don't understand this stuff, and that's why people like me are extremely busy. Because it's not just you who's watching this video, it is literally everybody. So I encourage you, if you like training dogs, do it, because we can't help everybody. It's overflowing. Learn, get really good at this stuff, and teach people, so, you know, there's plenty of people that need help. This is the work, man. This is the work, and we're not on my clock, okay? You know, although I'm the leader, we're actually on his clock. We go when he's ready, when he meets the criteria, right? This is what we call an experience. This whole thing is going to be an experience, and then he's going to be put away. And then when he's taken out again, other than like potty breaks and stretches like during socials, when he leaves our house, our compound, it's back to this exercise and this experience until we no longer have to deal with this experience, and then we can move to the next one. Until we have a life with him that we're happy with and he knows the drill. I know that. You know what that is? That's raising them. That's the raising process, right? So you're going to be doing that for at least a year with him. And then the rest is just maintenance, making sure he does what he knows he's supposed to do. Okay. How much longer is Axe here with us?
His first go home is on Monday, and his second go home is Friday.
That's great. So just practice this stuff, and you bring him the rest of the way, and you'll be happy with him. He's a good guy. He's a good dog. But this is it right here. This is the stuff that, if you're willing to put in the work, this goes a long ways. Now, we're going to document the whole thing. It's long, I know. But this is just so you can see how to do it. If you were to actually move to the next step and get in the car and all that, this is how you would do it. Shut all the doors. You don't even have to go anywhere. Like this session, I might just put them in there, work with the state of mind and stuff, and then take them out, and that was it. We're not actually going anywhere. And that'll also take down the excitement, because like, oh, maybe we don't always get to do really great things in there. Maybe it's just a training session. So it's all about how he's thinking up here. Is how he thinks is how he acts. Okay, remember that. How he thinks is how he acts. So these are all, what I'm doing constantly is sending him messages to get him to think a certain way. And what affects his thinking is where he thinks he is on the hierarchy, really, when it comes to, and that has to do with resources. You see how it's all connected. All right? That's my boy. He's a good guy, but he needs at least a year of this heavy structure. Okay? Just to make him the best he can be. All this. Place. I love this. He's learning how to get in right away. remember what I said about like being 2, but actually he's like 6 months in the mentality? He doesn't believe he can do it. He's more than capable. This guy's a German Shepherd. He could jump probably over this car if he wanted to. He doesn't even know he can get in. You want to know why? Because he struggled and everybody's been helping him ever since. That's why. The dog doesn't lie, okay? Or maybe your car is really high and he actually does need to be lifted. I'll give you that. Maybe that's true, so he's never actually had to jump. But either way, you know, it's these things. This is what I'm talking about. We're skipping out on these experiences all across America. It's like, that's important to be able to, these two. So come on, bub. Okay, there's the frustration. That's not a correction, by the way. That's frustration. We talked about this with him. Shh. Hey, I'm just gonna calm his mind. Shh. Hey. All right. Shh. One thing I really like about this dog is that he truly has a struggle. He's not what I would call an asshole, just doing it because he wants to be pushy. Shh. He's got a bad association issue. Shh. So I'm relaxing him and I'm gonna show him he can do it. You know, it's funny. It's like this is the work for us every day. We have a sneak peek. Shh. See, he's struggling for real. Not his choice. He doesn't. I doubt he wants to feel this level of frustration, anxiety. I can't get up there. I can't get in there. But it's real. It's real with him. It's definitely not brat. But it needs to be punished, of course. Just say, hey, don't go there again. Let me help you. But watch how I deal with this for him. Me and him got a good relationship, so. Wait. Let me explain something to you. The mind. It's too frantic. I can't think. Ah. You calm that mind down, you tell them to do it, boom, they do it. It's not magic. Shh. It's logical. If you're all flustered, you can't think straight. Shh. So we're teaching dogs, don't get flustered. Self-control. You're gonna need it. Trust me, I know all about it. I'm 30 years old, and I'm 33 years old, and I'm still learning about it. Good. Look at my boy. My good boy. All right? Now, it's not over. Let's get back out and go back in. Like, see what I mean? It's like, I don't want to struggle with this tomorrow or next week. Can we please just speed it up? Right? Good boy. This is what you should be doing with your dog, getting all the mechanics of living life for the human down. And that's what you should be concerning yourself with, not like, hey, let's go socialize at the dog park and stuff. Yeah. Waste your time all you want. Eventually, you need to do this type of stuff, and then everything's easy and you can go anywhere with it. You can put them on a plane and go to another country and everything's great because the dog and you have that dynamic, that you have that relationship. He knows how to go through the world with you. Okay? It's very important. You know, and like playing fetch and all that stuff, that's great. This is more important. I would love to see more time and energy spent on humans learning this rather than like, what game should I play with him? What do dogs like to do for fun? Like, okay, I get it. You can do that afterwards. This stuff first, and then I'm gonna put myself out of a job if you guys actually start doing it, you know? But this is what should be done, right? It's raise them first. And there's fun times. You play ball. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying. That's my boy. I'm proud of him. That's very good. I like it. All right? Just hang out there. In the beginning, I like to, when we're going through this process, you take a little longer with every step. Like, annoyingly long to the human. So instead of just closing that and getting in, we're just, you know what I encourage people to do? I really do. Just like, you're paying attention to him. Don't forget, you are. But you can do this. If you can get on your phone and like.
Hold this, I'm gonna get my jacket.
You know? But what we're doing is we're teaching him patience. We don't want him to start getting whiny and impatient because he knows, hey, come on guys, come on humans, come on thumbs, get in the car and start it up and let's go. That gives us an opportunity to correct that mind. That's why we're doing this. And if he does well, then, you know, eventually you're not even gonna have to do this because he doesn't need it. And you see he's so much better now than he was a couple of weeks ago. But in my standard, if he was my dog, he has a little ways to go still. Okay, look at that. Give a nice firm correction and then I dial my numbers down. We have to stop that anxiety. And we have to tell him, hey, stop that anxiety. It's more than just me stopping it. I'm reminding him for him to self-regulate and to stop it himself. And if he stops trying to do that, that's when I correct. Do you understand? I correct when he stops trying to keep himself calm. That's really what's happening. Yeah, so just chilling. It's actually quite rewarding work. And when I feel him feeling better, I offer affection because that'll bring him back up. Just so it's like, hey, even if I pet you, it doesn't mean you start whining again. And we get our patient boy. This is what, you know, we refer to as calm affection, which is a Cesar Millan term. And the reason I like it is because you get to reward your dog. They really like it, but it doesn't alter their energy. The rule of the calm affection is that you're to come over here and show them, hey, I really appreciate your calmness. And in doing so, that doesn't mean get crazy, right? Because that's not calm affection. That's part of the problem, actually. You should be able to touch your dog and pet your dog and let him know how much you appreciate him without him going bonkers. That's puppy stuff. That is, if you look at dogs who are on the street or who wild, by the time they're out of their adolescence, they're not acting like that. It's just America's dogs are immature, right? Like I explained before. This is a good guy. He needs help. He needs you to keep on top of him and tell him, hey, remember to keep yourself calm. And if I see you're not trying to do that, I'm gonna have to correct you because that's the medicine. That's what works. And over time, you won't be on him all the time. You will have effectively rewired his associations, and therefore the anxiety will melt. And that's what makes this worth doing, is that you actually have long-lasting, real changes in the dog, not just like covering up stuff and masking stuff. And I know that's why it's like, hey, this looks like work going home, because we're going to solve the problem, right? We're as close to it as we can. Not just try to patch it up and keep him just barely under control. We want to do work that we know is actually healing from the way he thinks, because that's what stems all the problems from. Right? It's up here. He's a good boy. He's worth all this time, I tell you. I think we're going to go somewhere with him, and if he does a lot better, we'll probably take off and go somewhere and then work from there. And then you can see, if you approached life with him like this, you're going to be able to do a lot with him. If you want to do a lot with him, if you don't want to do a lot with him, you don't have to either. But what you do with him, whatever his life contains, make sure he's doing it well. All right, and he's not annoying the people around him, because that's not good for a dog, for them to annoy the owners and other people. It doesn't end up being good, because then people resent their dogs and they do less with them. So hold them accountable to not be annoying. You know, that's what kids learn too. They learn how not to annoy adults. Some of them don't learn that. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is fantastic. X. Break. Attaboy. You want to go potty? Let's go up here, bud. Come on, bud. Break. Go potty. Attaboy. Probably going to, so this is something that we like to do because we have to get him as much experience as possible this year. We'll break that session up with this event here, which he likes to do. After a few minutes, he's going to have forgotten about, because it's a dog, that's the beauty of it, he's going to have forgotten about the car exercise, and we'll go right back to it, and he'll have a fresh trigger again. We'll be able to create it pretty freshly again. Okay? I mean, that's how we do it. You kind of hammer it in, you get it done. And that's a natural way to learn. You know, if you look at nature, it doesn't tend to take a long time to teach you something. It tends to be done pretty quick. All right. So we're gonna head down by the car, open the doors up, and then once the anxiety starts, we just do the process. And we just keep doing it until there is no more necessity for the process. That's good. I was looking at me, but I haven't told him, but I haven't said the follow command. He's in a free state right now. And I'm doing that on purpose. He's not in a command. Now let's be quiet. Let's listen. This is great. This is great. This is great. This is good. This is good. He's redirecting. He's smelling at other things. That's fine. See that power from just one wrap? You've seen it all. He did not cross me. Remember what I said about the dog, me, and the resource, or the trigger, whatever one? I'm in between. He didn't cross me. Now listen. This is important. Listen to him. People want to know why the stick. It makes you powerful in a dog's eyes. You can all of a sudden reach them. This is just the poke. It's a flimsy, floppity thing. It's meant to just. I'm here, by the way. So let me go ahead here. X. So the name, because it means I'm going to say something. So I disagreed with that. You see that moment I'm talking about that nobody ever sees, besides trainers? I said X, and that's why we talk about energy. Like, where does energy come into play? Why are people always talking about it? He was at 0, he was just chill. And I said his name, and then you watch the energy go up. And as soon as that energy goes up, that's when they lunge, or that's when they bark, or that's when they, but you've seen him do it, okay? He elevated his energy, which is against the rules. Why? Because you need that energy in order to move your body across the room in a fierce way, or any way at all. So I'm saying, I'm disagreeing with him going, tension, right? Okay? Good, see the softness? Okay, X. Good, he remained at a soft level. Place. Good job, bud. Good job. Proud of my guy, because this is his first time really. We went for a car ride with him, but we never pulled it out to this degree until today. Good. That's my guy. That is a dog who's getting it. When I say it, is the secret sauce to living with me. He's not fully there, but he's just now, I see that he's like, okay, I get it. You like it when I'm calm. And you like it when I assume to be calm, unless you say otherwise. Oh, starting to get it. And it's because we're teaching him that through through classic conversations. Dog running out the door, dog running into the car. You know, we're using those subject matters to have the conversation that needs to be had, which is I'm leading, if you're following. Okay, good. And then my appreciation is important. The petting part, once you get it, it really makes a difference. Yeah, see, and because it keeps him calm, can't do that though. What was that, guys? Demanding it back, all right? Not unless we were playing. Listen, once I get a dog under my thumb and we're living together for a while, I break all the rules because I know I can get them back on track if I need to. But when I'm with my board and trained dogs, they don't break the rules unless I think it's beneficial for my relationship with them in the beginning. You'll see me let them jump on me and stuff sometimes. But we'll talk about that in a different video. But this is fantastic. We wanted to keep this everywhere we go until we say the special word, the B-R-E-A-K, and then he can elevate a little bit and go explore. But there's boundaries within that too. That's my boy, I'm very proud. You know I am. Yes. So we're getting this over, it's just so many experiences stacked, right? Because the first time I ever had him had to relax outside was tremendously difficult for him and for me. See that licking and stuff, like, I'm not gonna get into what all this means, but him and I have bonded. But I had to go for respect, which means I had to literally like pin him around a resource the first time because he was so wanted, and I used a stick because I just realized he was so bonkers about it. So I said, don't touch my stick. And he's not aggressive. That's why I like him so much. He's actually just really concerned about the stick. And he doesn't care about hierarchically like beating you, like biting you and showing you. There are dogs like that. And that's why I like him, because he doesn't think like that. But he does think like stick, 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 you know? So I need him to understand that my corrections mean to relax and don't worry about the stick or whatever it is you're worrying about. What a good guy. All right, and then more time. I know this seems funny, but you can see now that I've explained it, if you've watched these videos, you know why we're doing it this way. It's because it makes him think about it differently. And now he has it here, so when he goes into your car, he's gonna go old mentality, and you're gonna go correct, and he's gonna go new mentality. And you're gonna do that for a few weeks until the new mentality has actually, which is associations really, has actually been changed. Like for real. You do the work at home, they change, and now you're not fussing with the dog every day. Nothing worse than having a stressful life. You know, everybody's got a stressful life, and then you have to fuss with your dog for all the small stuff. It's just adding fuel to the fire. Rather than seeing your dog and appreciating, when I see Reagan's in the morning, I'm just like, man, you fill my cup these days. He didn't always fill my cup. I'm so appreciative to have a dog who I don't even have to tell. Like, he knows when to go to bed, he knows when to get up. Like, we've put in the work for a couple years now. We're reaping the benefits. And guess what? He was reactive too. He was worse than your average dog as well. That's my guy. You see, he's learning this. He learned it on place first, which is inside, which is easier, but he's starting to realize it's the same thing out here. So good. Such a good boy. Let's get in the car and start it up. Because guess what? Getting in the car and starting it up, it means we're going somewhere. I'm gonna do this the first time with the trunk open, just to see, keep you guys being able to see. So what we do is, as soon as the dog hears the engine start, we ask for a down. Usually we shut it the first time we do the car door thing. If the dog's sitting up, we shut it. Or if they're laying down, we shut the door and they stand up. We ask them to down after we turn the car on, and if they don't, we correct on the e-collar. And what that results in is a dog downing when it hears the engine, which is really useful. And they know it's just relax time until we get to our destination when the car turns off. And we use those natural sounds in our training, in our e-collar training. So if you're seeing your dog just do things right when they go home, it was planned and patterned. That's my good boy. That's the association. That's saying we're traveling somewhere, and I'm just gonna wait until we get there. All right, now we're in the car, and he's in a downstay back there, which is great. I'll hold him accountable. And basically, if there's little whines, like if I hear like a little every now and then, I'm probably not gonna go after that. But if I start to hear him like whining a sentence, singing the blues, he's gonna get corrected. And then, because it's all about association. As soon as he understands this is what we do, the whining goes away. All right, so let's head to our destination. We just parked. I don't hear any whining yet, which is really good. And he didn't pop up, which is really good, but oftentimes the dogs pop up. So what he did do is he popped up about halfway here, just kind of peeked up to look out the window, and I said, bing, and he laid back down. But that's it. That's it. He's knowing that he's getting this. We just parked. We're obviously down with there's a lot of action. We're on a main street. We're gonna get out. We're gonna go to the front of this store, and we're gonna relax. And then we're gonna go home. The rules are, though, is to be calm. I am gonna give him a potty break while we're out here. I think that's a good idea to do. But then after that, we're just relaxing, like a homeless guy on the street with his dog. We're not going anywhere for a while, and I'll be correcting him if he gets really fussy and really stressed and worried about stuff, and we'll see how he does. This is a test for him today, and this lets me know where to go with the training. Okay, let's go. Laying down, a couple corrects in the car. Looks good. His eyes are nice and soft. He has not done this yet. This is his first time. Now we hang out here because it's the first time doing it. So we just hang out. We don't even have to get out right now because there'll be work to be done right here. One thing at a time. I've had success in the past taking dogs who had extreme anxiety in public just pulling up the place like this, opening up the trunk, doing a downstate, not even leaving, closing the trunk, driving somewhere else, opening it up. You can get clever with this stuff. You can get a lot done in a short period of time. Because once you start to realize it's about how the dog views it, and you stop worrying about the symptoms, like he's pulling on the leash, he's doing this, you stop worrying about that, and you start worrying about, look, he's shaking. The issue's already presenting itself, but it's in a way that he can handle it. And the association, the most important thing is if he's calm when he's experiencing this, that'll be his association next time he comes. You know what I mean? Obviously, he has past association, so he's going to take some repattern. So as soon as his mind elevates, we correct and bring calmness until there'll be a day in the next few days he will be calm out here. That's just what we do. That's my guy. He did that by himself. Put his head down. He's so calm, you know? Yeah. Yeah, because he just started shaking, his whole body's vibrating. Right? God, what a gorgeous day. And now we relax. It takes time. Like I said, you get on your phone, you do whatever, but we're going to keep you guys on here because I want you to see the sessions. You know, sessions like this are over an hour long. Usually, we're just out. Exposure therapy is what we call it when we're talking about a professional. But we want to make sure we're exposing them with a clear and calm mind so that that can be the way they view the world. Look at that. That's my boy. See that pet? He's a good boy. Yeah, he's close. He's good. Experience, I'll let him out, go potty somewhere, come back, go back into the down, back to the relaxation. All right. If his mind can go into a calm place with all this stimulation, knowing that there'll be times where I'm going to let you go and have some fun, I think we're going to get a dog who views the world differently, which just means he's different in a good way. You know, all the anxiousness and all this stuff will fade away. Will be gone. Not that it won't come back in situationally, but it won't be his baseline for his everyday, every moment, his anxiety. That's how this guy came in. Let's not forget that. Every moment is like whining, and it's pretty bad. He's definitely in the top 10 cases of shepherds of anxiety, for sure. He's up there. But he's a good guy. He's a good dog. He's good-hearted. He doesn't want to be aggressive or anything like that, which is awesome. Boy, very proud. I'm gonna start moving around a little bit, which will produce a little bit of whining because he assumes he's gonna be going with me, and he wants to go with me, obviously. So we always base what we do off of what the dog's doing. So I was going to let him out to potty, but if he struggles with this hard, we won't. We'll just create the calm state of mind. And then when I see acceptance in his mind that he's not going out, he says, fine, I'm not going out. That is when you can let him out. But that's when you can leave. That's when the exercise is taking effect. I love this exercise because he's back tied in here to the metal, so you know he can make it out, but he's not getting anywhere. And he sees people coming towards us, but and I see them, and then de-escalate. See them, and then de-escalate. About getting out. That's all. But see, I'm petting this. You notice when I come in for the pet, they're not random pets. as soon as I see him say fine, I comment, and whether he knows that's happening or not, it's strengthening because he likes this. It's strengthening him doing this. It chews this more. See? That's good. This is actually a fantastic exercise. It's pretty nice. Let's go somewhere new. We'll potty somewhere else. This is kind of nowhere good to go. He's not standing up. That's how this goes usually. We had one conversation about when I got out last time and he was standing up. Now he's not. Steady progress ahead. My boy, he's learning how to do this. He will get some free time here if he does well. Working with little Eli yesterday. I know this isn't his video, but let him out of the car. And he just jumped right out, just bolted right out. You know? So that's the kind of stuff that can happen the first few times. Like dogs are literally just like bust out. They're like, hey, I'm at the park. Excuse me, get out of my way. We're here now. I don't need you anymore. You know, it's disrespectful. This like I said, he's disrespectful, but he's not an asshole about it. Would you look at that? Let's see if I can get it up now. That's nice. Break. Good job, bud.